Please excuse my hair. I took it out of a ponytail and it's just crazy, so whatever. But hold on. So I'm going to talk about how I got a traumatic brain injury while at school. It was May 14th of 2012, and I was walking in my school's hallway, and there was some water on the floor, and I guess my flip-flop hit it just the right way because I slipped and fell to the side or fell backwards or something. Somehow I hit my head. I don't remember hitting my head, but I hit my head. And then I was also trampled by all the other students going to class. So, yeah, because there's 4,000 students per grade, and we were a high school of 9th to 12th. So, yeah. So then after that happened, I was totally fine. I got back up, I walked to my next class. I was completely fine during that class, and then I go to lunch. And then during lunch, I'm starting to feel a little wheezy and a little, I guess, dizzy or unstable. So I barely ate at lunch, and I didn't even bother going back to my locker before my next class. I just took whatever books I had and went to the next class, which it was my last class of the day, I believe. So then I'm in class and we're taking notes, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm about to pass out, literally just pass out and fall out of my chair or something. So I let the teacher know, and she's like, okay, let me get my teacher's assistant, and he'll take you to the front office. I'm like, cool. So I go to the front office and the lady's like, yes, what can I help you with? And I was like, well, I fell earlier today and I'm not sure if I hit my head or not, but ever since then I'm getting a headache and I'm not really feeling well, feeling kind of nauseous and stuff. By the way, that's signs of a concussion if you ever experience that. And our school was big on talking about concussions when it came to sports and stuff like that. But anyway, so then she's like, okay, well, go over to the nurse. But our nurse wasn't there today, so she's like, wait, she's not here today, go to the office and see what they can do. I'm like, okay, fine. So I let them know, I told them exactly what I told the lady before, and I was like, well, I have a headache, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, we can give you Tylenol. And I was like, whatever, I don't care. Like, I can't even think straight right now. And I'm gonna puke or something. I have no idea. So they're like, okay. So do you want to lay down in the nurse's office until it kicks in or something in the dark? And I was like, sure, that's fine. Then after 5 minutes of laying in there, they came and got me. And they're like, okay, I think you need to go back to class. I was like, fine. So then as I'm walking back to class with the teacher's assistant, because they called him back to come get me, I'm like, dude, nope, I can't go back to class. I'm about to pass out. Can you take me back to the office? And he's like, yeah, hold on. So I get back in the office and I let her know, I was like, I really feel like I'm going to pass out. I can't even keep my eyes open and I'm just not okay. And I, at this point, had told them that I had fallen. I told them this like 3 times. So then I get back to the office and she's like, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to like call your mom or what? I was like, yes, please. I would have liked that earlier when I asked you about it, but whatever. So I get my mom on the phone and I talk to her and I'm like, hey, I fell earlier today and I'm not sure if I hit my head or not, but I was trampled by some other students. And she's like, what? Okay. And I was like, I have a headache, blah, blah, blah. I told her they gave me medicine for it, and she's like, excuse me? Because you're not supposed to take a certain medication if you have hit your head or have a possible concussion. So it was a whole ordeal. So my mom's like, put the lady back on the phone. I was like, okay. So she talks to the lady and she's like talking to the lady of the office, and all of a sudden I hear the lady say, well, she didn't tell me she hit her head. Excuse me? I didn't what? So then the lady hands me back the phone and my mom's like, you didn't tell her you hit your head? You didn't tell her you fell? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, Mom, I did. I've told these people 3 times that I hit my head and I fell. And I mean, I don't know how many times I need to tell them for them to understand. So she's like, put the lady back on the phone. I was like, okay. So we're like playing past the phone. But anyways, so yeah. So my mom starts talking to the office lady again, and she says, I'm coming to get her, and I'm going to take her to the emergency room because obviously y'all aren't taking care of my daughter at school. So the nice little teacher's assistant went and got my books and my purse and all that stuff and brought it to me, and I sat in the office until she came and got me. And then we went to the urgent care. We went to the urgent care first, and I told them what happened, and they're like, oh, we can't treat you here. If you've had a head injury, we cannot treat you here. So we're going to wrap your neck in this thing to stabilize you, and you need to go to the emergency room immediately. I get to the emergency room, and they're like, okay, we'll handle this. They put me in a wheelchair since I'm so like faint and stuff. And then I get back and they're taking CT scans, x-rays, and all that stuff, all that jazz. And then I finally talk with a neurologist and they do some stuff. And then I go back and see the neurologist and they tell me I have a stage 4 traumatic brain injury. No, stage 4 concussion, and I have a traumatic brain injury. Luckily, all my scans were clear, and it was just a simple concussion that was very high on the scale. So she put me strictly on bed rest for 2 weeks, which my school did not appreciate that. And no phone, which luckily there was no iPhones yet, or there were, but they weren't popular yet. And complete darkness and staying hydrated with water and what's that called? Gatorade. So yeah, and ever since then, it's now 12 years later, I have had generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and I have a few other things, but that's not from that. And I tried to take it to court then, but nobody wanted to take the case because they didn't want to go against the school board. So, but yeah, that's my fun, crazy, weird story about how I ended up in that neck brace. Thanks for watching.